Hi, my name's Joe Medrano. I live in the Bolingbrook area. When I was a kid, I grew up in a Catholic family, and going to church was optional. We'd go to the major holidays like Christmas and Easter, and that was basically the extent of it. So I went to high school in a Catholic high school, and for a very short period of time, during that time, I didn't believe in God. And it wasn't until when I was in college when a friend gave me a Bible and introduced to me the idea of having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It wasn't until 2007 and 2008 when I really hit rock bottom. I had a business that I had to close because of the recession in the economy. And at the same time, I went through a divorce. So I remember laying in bed at the lowest point of my time, and I remember saying to myself, my goodness, how much worse can this get? And I knew that I had hit rock bottom, and I realized that maybe God brought me to that place to get me to focus my attention on Him. I felt guilty. I was angry at myself. I was embarrassed. And because of those feelings, I kind of isolated myself. I stopped going to church, which caused me to start moving away from God. And when I realized that that wasn't right, months had passed, and I knew that I had to go back to church. I went back by myself, and I just remembered having the feeling of being refreshed and renewed, and a voice came into my head and said, Joe, you really need just to forgive yourself. I had already forgiven you, but you haven't forgiven yourself, and that's why you're not moving forward in life. And at that point in time, it was just a decision to forgive. I felt so moved and touched that later on that next week, I brought my kids back, and I remember being in worship, singing to the Lord, with my hands high up in the air, and my daughter and my son on each side of me. And it was just a waterfall of tears of emotion, just feeling welcome back. And for all the sin that I had committed, and for all the wrongdoing, and for just the unclean ways that I was, I really felt at that point in time how much God loved me, and that I was really truly forgiven. Fast forward a few years later, I no longer associate my identity with my career or money or the things that I possess, the possessions. So then God had put certain people in my life, and one of them is my wife today, Cindy, along with her family. They were so instrumental in just leading me to a closer relationship with Christ. They've accepted me for who I am, and they were the ones who introduced me into the Seventh-day Adventist culture. We now go to church and worship on Saturdays, and it's been just such a blessing. We found a friend in Pastor Jose and his wife Tiffany. Pastor Jose has become my spiritual leader, and life is so much more at peace. Instead of having my identity in the things that I used to identify myself with, my identity is now in Christ. And I've made a commitment to serve the Lord with the gifts and talents that He has given to me. And for that reason, I am choosing to get baptized.